And another episode where I was having an off night, so this is going to be great.
You were not having an off night. You've never had an off night.
I apologize to all the fans.
It's not true.
Gay Matt Nation.
Gosh, I mean, everybody watching right now is like, man, Matt Steele looks great.
Carol Channing!
Yeah, younger than ever. Very good Matt Steele impression.
That's my Matt Steele.
Just screaming, Carol Channing!
Carol Channing!
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Two Gay Matts, the podcast. It's Matt Palmer, and I'm here with someone who, if you're not looking at us right now, spoiler, is not Matt Steele.
I'm so sorry.
Do not be sorry. Do not apologize. Matt Steele is in Jersey, and he informed me as he was packing up that he forgot to pack his mic. And you know what? I don't accept bad quality audio.
So at this point, I think he's just gone.
I think this is the show.
This is the show.
We had a very short. Oh, I haven't fully introduced you.
Oh, right.
This is writer, comedian extraordinaire, alum of College Humor, alum of Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, has written over 2,000 billion episodes of television.
Yes, that's right.
Official numbers.
That's right.
And LA's own queen, hailing from Chicago to Los Angeles, New York. Did a little stop through UCB queen, Janie Stolar.
Oh my God, Matt, thank you.
Truly the best guest of all time. You've actually been asked about, I think on the Patreon, someone was like, I think it's time for a Janie update.
That really means a lot to me because I'm a Two Gay Matt stan. So just to be even in the world is an honor. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so sorry. I don't know about Sondheim and the kinds of things half of your demo is probably waiting for.
I think they'll be fine.
Okay.
You know what? They're so happy to hear from you yet again. Janie, I just feel like the last time you were on the podcast, what was this, like a year ago? I feel like we definitely were recording remotely.
It was remote. We were all very what's the word? What did people say back then? Out of an abundance of caution.
People are still saying that now.
And they need to stop. I hate that phrase so much.
Just because it's like, we know you're just ignoring.
Or someone already has COVID.
Right. It's like clearly you're lying someone has COVID in the cast of this show that is like out of abundance of caution going to close down for the next 2 weeks exactly. It's like, well. Janie,
okay.
How have you been?
Oh my God.
And happy 2022. This is our first episode of 2022.
Well,
how was your break? And how was your new year?
It was raining. I was alone. I locked myself out of the apartment.
Well, that just happened just now.
It did just happen just now. Sort of on the upswing, I would say.
Yeah.
How about you?
I mean, it's been good. I went home to Atlanta, brought Jackson home for the first time. There may have been some pictures up on the Instagram, and that was lovely. Then I went to your hometown, Chicago.
Let's talk about that. What did you think?
I thought it was cool.
I've known Matt for long enough where that's not the highest endorsement.
I did. I thought it was cool. We love the bean. You look crazy looking into that. It's like, oh, I look crazy in there.
Now, I grew up, the bean wasn't there. So if we didn't have the bean to discuss.
Okay, without the bean, okay. It was, I mean, I'm a thin-skinned person. We all think about when we lived in New York together, which, by the way, it was only 6 months overlap looking back.
And yet, it was
We've been besties for a decade now, whatever. But it's just crazy. I'm thin-skinned, coldness wise. So, and then a lot of Jackson's family is understandably COVID conscious, COVID nervous. So we had a lot of outdoor fire pit moments. And did my toes and feet freeze for upwards of 5 hours after that? Yeah.
I think we have to go back in another season. I would say, just to defend Chicago, I fully agree. That's why I don't live there. But it is really a wonderful city when you're not outside in the cold.
I don't think it's not wonderful. I was getting wonderful vibes. It probably wasn't the season for me.
100% understand. I have not been there in the winter by choice ever. So I get it.
Even when you were in school and stuff, you must have gone back home.
I would just stay in my house and not leave. I just would not want to be outside.
And that's the thing is I was still doing that in Atlanta up until I'm bringing a boy home, which has never happened in all of my days. And so I'm like, oh, so I have to think of Atlanta things to do. His family was like, oh, what things you guys gonna do? I'm like, well, we're gonna go to the World of Coke.
Yeah,
That's fun.
The aquarium.
Aquarium. We went back by my old school, the Westminster Schools, and went to the P-Lot, famous for its Smoothie King. it's Willie's Mexican, and it's Starbucks.
And that was hour one.
I know, honestly, that was essentially all we did. We ate a lot. There was, I think, 6 cakes for 6 people at my mom's house.
Ooh, what was like the standout cake?
There were obviously the sweet potato pie is always the star, the crowning jewel. There was a pound cake incident we can't get into. But essentially, me and Jackson tried to help with my mom's pound cake, which was her mom's pound cake. And did we mess it up? Yes. Did my mom have to make it herself? Yes. But the thought counted.
I think Anthony would be proud. Like that feels like the whole point was you tried.
And wait, speaking of, have you queer-eyed at all?
I've watched the first 2. Have you watched it?
I didn't. We were at a 2-year-old's birthday party last night, as much cool people like are usually over weekends.
I mean, he is like the coolest person we know.
Honestly,
so.
Team Owen forever.
Yes.
But once you left, Jackson and I slept over at our friend's place and began watching the first episode of Queer Eye. I fell asleep immediately.
I'll say I left and you were asleep at the dinner table, so that doesn't surprise me.
It was honestly, like, it was one of those I need a vacation from this vacation moments.
I can see it. You were doing a lot of traveling.
Yes.
You were up and you were out and you were entertaining and holidays and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're probably exhausted.
And it's like, it was fun, of course. I had a lovely time, but it was like, this is new members of Jackson's family. I have to be up and at 'em and enjoying. And they're like night owls to a T. So it's like, we're up till 2:30 every night. I had just gotten back in LA the night before. It took a long time to get back here. Whatever. Long story short, did I fall asleep at 11 o'clock on the couch watching Queer Eye? Yes.
That sounds like a lovely night. Actually.
It really was great.
Yeah.
Questions for you about, are you enjoying the season so far?
I'm loving it so far.
All right. And also, is Anthony like distractingly hot?
Okay.
Because like...
They've had him in 2 episodes. He's done push-ups and deadlift. And it's now, I think they've sort of just pushed him to the side. Like he is just the hot guy who sometimes is in the kitchen.
I was going to say, does he cook?
There's been moments where he like helps facilitate other people's recipes, which I think is weird. Like that's sort of his job now.
And the thing is, I of course am happy to see a handsome man on television, but I feel like if you are following his Instagram presence, as we are closely, the body's gotten out of control.
It's out of control.
It's
out of control.
Never eaten a carb. Like how am I supposed to take food advice from you now? I know.
Sir? I mean, I almost wonder if they should just pivot. I don't think they would, but like he could be fitness.
He could be fitness.
And just have it be that.
Yes.
Like also the food thing, I think that's probably the most unnecessary of all the Queer Eye categories.
And so is Bobby still your number one?
Bobby's great, but in the first episode, JVN talks to someone about a hair situation so sweetly and thoughtfully and so kindly that that was like a standout episode. I thought that was like time for the Emmy for JVN.
Wow. I mean, we love them, I believe.
I think either he or them.
He or them. Okay, great. Love them. And I can't wait to dive in. So speaking of diving in, should we jump into News for Idiots, which did come from our dead podcast, TVQH. If you want to hear 2 episodes now.
I will say the thing about it was meant to be. We were meant to just talk about pop culture.
Yes.
But we were living on different coasts at the time.
Yes.
So we would like record it when we were together and we tried to do it apart. And this was a different time. There wasn't technology. We weren't Zoom people.
We were not Zoom people. We did not get the ins and outs of Zoom. We didn't have Zoom Pro or whatever.
Yes.
And now we do.
So if you like me and if you don't hate me, please let us know. I really want to make Matt feel pressure to do a second podcast with me.
I am always available for that. And honestly, I literally texted Janie maybe 2.5, 3 weeks ago being like, by the way, you need a podcast. Like the people need your opinions every week.
Does anyone also on this know about Twitch? Because
hopefully they do, and hopefully we will at some point.
Yes.
Because we're trying to dive into Twitch. We need to figure out
Twitch. That's like where it happened.
Because you were on a Twitch comedy show recently.
And it was so great.
Wow.
And then you make it a podcast. I don't know. So if anyone can help, we'll pay you for that.
If there are youths listening or watching out there, please.
Gen Z, please.
Gen Z, please. That should be the title of that. Just Gen Z, please. We need you now more than ever.
Exactly.
All right. Sorry to jump into sad news first, but I feel like it is the highest news story on the list at the moment. Miss Betty White.
I won't say actually how I feel. Okay. I have a hot take on this.
Oh God.
You didn't know I have a hot take.
I can't believe you're getting our podcast canceled. Please go on.
We love Betty White.
We do.
An incredible icon forever.
Period.
First of all, the People magazine, she's turning 100.
I know.
There's a lot that I wonder in the media business what sort of alt cover was ready, and were they like waiting to the last minute? Because these things, a weekly magazine is sort of outdated in our news media. Like get the news on Twitter or TMZ or whatever. So I was like, that's just like, I would love the documentary about that.
Yes.
The second thing is everybody dies. Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
If you had to die, would you not want to die 99, sharp, beloved on a magazine cover?
Hello.
Everyone in America, well, around the world probably, is mourning you.
For sure.
And you look great and you're doing great and everyone loves you. That's how I'd like to go.
Hey, I think that's actually exactly right.
Yeah.
And I mean, what an incredible, illustrious career. She lived such a long and healthy life. She was so with it until the very end.
Yes.
I feel like because of this news, it was almost like uncomfortably a lot of attention on the fact that she was turning 100 on like January 17th or whatever. I think there's a show or documentary that's been prepped and is going to, I assume, still be released. But it just was like, I feel like for people like us, we're always like, something bad's about to happen. I don't know that I would personally have agreed to like celebrate my centennial, because it's like, I mean, you never know.
No, I feel like I turned 35 and I was like, the decay has come. I am halfway there / just ready at any moment. So I feel my 35-year-old celebration was a curse. So God bless making it to a few days shy of 100. That's really incredible.
I would like to say I don't believe Janie is cursed on record. I just want.
Do you believe everyone is secretly a mole? Because that's my other widely held belief that I share with many people.
I feel like night one, you're like, by the way, everyone's a mole.
Hi, will you be my best friend? Everyone's a mole.
And this is a woman I just saw at a party doing the single ladies dance in full, which again, we'll tell you what year it was. We'll tell you what time it was.
It was relevant at the time.
It really was. It wasn't like she was doing this yesterday, guys. No. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Second item of note, and this is so great to have you here for this because Matt Steele doesn't watch, but Insecure. The finale aired. There were so many emotions. I thought it was beautiful. I feel like we discussed this briefly at Owen's B-Day, but there were some reactions that were not all that positive about the finale, which I feel like people just put so much pressure on finales to be like, we want to wrap everything up perfectly in a bow. And if I'm not satisfied with every single frame, then it was a disaster, like lighted on fire.
100%. I mean, there's a spoiler, what I'm going to say about the finale.
Spoiler.
But I feel like it really was, wow, thank you for showing us this culmination of this show. We've been on this journey. And they didn't just say, they're at this point now and everything's fine. They showed it's still going to take more time and more growth for them to get where, we're going to see this like beautiful ending. Yeah. So I thought that was cool. They didn't like try to speed up and make it just happen in the end. It always feels so, unrealistic and like the show just stops.
Totally.
It was great.
I thought it was lovely. And I also love that so much focus was about Molly finding her happy ending because, again, spoiler, but because that was like the beginning of the pilot. Like it was about Issa feeling stuck at work and in her relationship, but I feel like her work life was the primary focus of her, goals and aspirations throughout the series. Like she started out working at We Got Y'all and ended up where she ended up.
Absolutely.
And Molly's whole thing was like, she was desperately wanting to get married, wanting to find that right person. And especially after season 4, which, much like the Housewives of Potomac, I believe it's its best season. I love this last season, love all the seasons, but that friendship breakdown, there's something about a friendship breakdown that just really, it's like Jill and Bethany back in the day during the first times we met. There's no better season of Housewives of New York to me.
Should we have one?
I think we should, just for content. That should be what our spinoff podcast is going to be. It's just our breakdown and rebuild of the friendship.
It's true. And that also, it was the ultimate love story of the whole show.
Yes.
Thread. So it felt the most poignant and irreparably sad when they weren't friends. So I think that was a beautiful moment in the end.
Right. It's like, of course, it was lovely to see, spoilers again, Issa with her engagement ring on with Lawrence and like talking to, but it's like, I'm glad it focused on the friendship between Molly and Issa in those last frames. Like that is the love story of the show. They are each other's soulmates.
Yeah.
The men, I'm glad they found people and they seem happy and right for them, but like,
also, I have to say, I recommend, there's a documentary on HBO about making the final season and seeing from what they've portrayed, it is such a healthy, wonderful work environment and everyone loves each other and it's so supportive. So it just made you think like, wow, this is just a really exemplary show for so many reasons.
Totally. And I feel like as someone in the biz, people that are in the scripted world and the crew of that. And it's more rare than you think that the show is run as beautifully and as kindly as that show.
I got the vibe that like Issa's she's going to truly run Hollywood. She's amazing.
I can't wait.
I know.
Yes, I started that documentary and I haven't finished it, but I need to. So
I love.
Oh, I love to. Next story. What's up? Ooh, this was another dark one. Sorry, I just saw it. I don't know if there's much to say about this. It's not funny.
Hot take. No, just kidding.
I know, hot take.
No.
We don't like Ghislaine. Is that how you say it?
Okay, here's the thing. Okay. It's, I guess, Ghislaine. It's Ghislaine. We don't owe her the respect we really don't. Of Ghislaine.
No. And I also love, as much of the New York Post is like garbage 99% of the time, the headline of guilty, hilarious. So she is confirmed sex trafficker, assisted Jeff Epstein.
5 out of 6 counts. Yeah.
We wish her nothing but the worst. Like what she did with the grooming, like I hope and pray that if you're not directly related, even if you are, there aren't people that are team Ghislaine out there, right?
Well, there's like, you know how there's people that say it's feminism, but it's just bad. There are people that are like, she's just a stand-in because she's a woman for all of the blah, blah, blah. No, take them all down.
Take them all down.
Also, I want her to name names on the way out. Let's take them all down.
Because you know who was involved with Epstein.
You can name a million names, yeah.
But Mr. Trump.
I know, also Mr.
I know.
Okay.
I know, and you're not wrong. Yeah. And honestly, they can all go. I don't care.
Take them all down.
If I like you, if I don't like you, if I wanted you to be president or not, take them all down.
Because
this is a non-starter. This is horrible. So I'm glad, justice. It's like justice gets served every 5 times.
Out of a billion.
Yes,
agreed.
So it's nice when it happens.
A little bit of sense in the world.
A little bit.
I know. I'll take it.
So have you by chance seen the trailer for the new Janet documentary?
I have. Woo! Wow. Ooh. What did you think? I know you're a huge Janet stan.
I am a giant Janet stan. She was my number 2 as a child, and I've loved her forever. I thought it was excellent. I can't believe we're getting Catherine on record. I was not expecting that. There's obviously some Michael talk. I couldn't believe the little scene in which they're like, Justin's people are reaching out to you about the Super Bowl. Because, and I reached out to someone about this and they disagreed with me, but I honestly think it's that moment in the trailer is the best press he's gotten in years. I'm glad we heard from her team that she was invited to be a part of his Super Bowl performance because he so could have been, because when he was announced to be the Super Bowl halftime show person, everyone was like, fuck him, where's Janet? And we were all hoping she'd pop up in the middle, and she never did. And was like, oh, fuck him. And he could have
played the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Wait, J-Lo did it, and then The Weeknd.
Before that. But years ago.
I don't know.
Remember the Man of the Woods era when he was like,
what?
He had a whole album, put out an album with Neptunes, and his first single was Filthy, and he was a robot in the video.
I don't know where I was.
He was like Steve Jobs. I love that this is all news.
It's all news. I must not listen to this. I must continue to not listen to this.
I mean, that just means you're doing it right and you're ignoring the things you should be ignoring. But yes, he played the Super Bowl, did a pretty poor job.
Did he do the song with the...
He must have. Yes, I think he did, and he made some sort of winky reference to it, which was gross and everything. But he also was like lazy and like for someone who honestly, as much as I hate the man, was a great performer during Future Sex Love Sounds. He has lost it. Moment, yeah. It just wasn't good.
Between this and Britney this year, I do think it's just like you cannot. He does need to say something and do something right. Something has to happen.
And so honestly, the fact that we're hearing it from this Janet trailer, he didn't pop out after everyone hated on him about the Super Bowl, saying like, hey, well, we invited her and she turned us down. And he really could have. It would have been a very JT move, and he didn't. That is the first thing I'll say. Good for you for not doing that, Justin.
Totally.
But I think it's interesting that we're touching on that. We're touching on Michael. I love that it's a 2-night event. I also love that like so many giant superstars are there in the trailer talking about her, because I feel like because of what happened on the Super Bowl and because of what's that man's name who's married to Julie Chen? Is a piece of shit. Les Moonves, actively attempting to ruin her career. So many of the younger people, the Gen Z, if you were younger than us, you don't know how big Janet Jackson was.
There's a New York Times documentary on Hulu about it that briefly touches. She's not quoted in it. This is going to be so much better because she's actually like at the helm.
For sure.
But that is a good like debrief of who she was, how big she was, and what happened and the fallout. Right. Like just.
Yes. To prepare yourself for this documentary, if you don't know enough about Janet, watch the A&E documentary, which they was the one that did the Britney documentary and then did the Janet one. It's like, Justin, bad week for you. I don't know who he made mad at FX or whatever, but they're not fans.
Oh God, I know.
But that trailer looks excellent.
Yeah, it looks really great.
And I think it's end of January, so I love having something to look forward to.
Thank God we have something to look forward to.
Honestly, Britney unfollowed Jamie Lynn.
Okay, I love there are her fans are just watching for that, just waiting for that moment. That made me feel she's so supported. We are all looking at everything she does.
Oh my God. It's beyond. And I don't know what's happening there. I never fully understood it. Jamie Lynn did not do enough to support her, of course, but clearly Britney's cutting ties. So that's that on that. And Britney's confirmed there's new music in the works, which we love. She says there's a new song. Did you watch the Instagram where she's singing in the mirror?
Just before this, just wanted to remind myself, I put it on and my cat ran out of the room. We love Britney. I think it was a sudden,
it's very sudden.
Terrifying sound.
And yes, we love Britney. We're not saying, and everyone has sounded bad. Like I just saw a video of Jennifer Hudson sounding bad. It happens. I know.
Where?
She sang the Super Bowl at some, or said Super Bowl. She sang the Super Bowl. Period. Sang it. Did a great job. No, she sang the national anthem somewhere and it ended with, and the home of the brave. I was like, whoa, that's like not a note. It was a long time ago.
As a singer, did she go too high?
There was no note. It was just a bar. And again,
I gotta find this.
This is a person who sounds incredible live 99% of the time.
Oh yeah.
Everyone has an off day, but it was a shock to be like, oh, let me turn the sound off mute on this Instagram, and it was like, whoa.
Yes, it was a shock.
It just was like she's doing runs. She's using that big voice that she had. It just is a shock to hear, but I'm sure whatever she's making in the studio is going to be
we support her. We'll be applauding.
Oh my God.
We will be doing whatever it takes to get her back making music, whatever makes her happy.
Oh my God.
On her own terms.
Yes. That's that on that. Yeah. Truly. But so
hide your cats next time.
Hide your cats indeed. So, okay, Katy Perry has a new song with Alesso, and I actually don't mind it. I believe it's called When You're Gone. The video is coming out on January 10th in the middle of some football game. She also is, in conjunction with the song, performing in Las Vegas. She has a new Vegas residency, Katy Perry Play. A lot of throwbacks to the Katy Teenage Dream era, and I feel like even during Teenage Dream, where she was putting out like bop after bop and like hit after hit, I was always like, when she leans too cutesy, I find it a little annoying. Like I just found it just like the last Friday night video. It's like we're doing comedian, and I'm like, I don't need that from you. And I feel like the Vegas residency, she's really leaning hard.
Is the Vegas residency like outdoors?
No.
I was looking at it going,
no, it's not.
This feels super spreader bonanza to me. Like it's giving party while we get COVID.
I mean, I feel like due to an abundance of caution will be said soon. I feel
in a
like
moment of time.
It's a come-in.
And I will say some of her costumes in this tour, they're by Zaldi. Like they're very cool and they're interesting. But I agree with you. Sometimes she's just like, she thinks she's funnier than she is, which is really hard.
Didn't the other two make a joke when like the kid was performing at the VMAs and like the kids, I don't remember, Drew has got to get ready because Katy Perry's on stage, she's performing, and then Brooke was like, is she singing or is she doing a comedic set? And it's like, oh, she's doing comedy. It's like, oh, we have time.
That's so funny.
The people know. And just if you haven't seen the pictures from the Vegas show, it includes a bra made of beer cans that lactates beer, a giant surgical mask that drinks beer with Katy Perry, costumes made of bedazzled trash, a set of giant magic mushrooms, a huge bathtub, rocking horse, and toilet, a giant poop that sings California Girls. Again, a giant poop that sings California Girls.
Okay, so that's what women who are like really, really hot think is funny because they think poop is like hilarious.
It's like Katy from The Bachelorette.
Yes, that's like where their comedy starts and ends.
Right. because it's like every hot person, if you've been hot your whole life, you're not funny. And I think that's okay. I think
stay in the lane.
Stay in the lane. Hot is a lane.
Hot is a wonderful lane.
Marketable. It is monetizable.
You will get what you want all the time.
100%.
It's a great thing to be.
But leave the comedy to the professionals.
The uglies.
The ugly. Yes.
Let us have our thing.
You are not that. You luckily have both been given with both hands.
I should be saying, as a hot person who's also hilarious.
I was going to say.
You know what I mean?
What's that? It's just not fair. It's just not fair. Poor everybody else.
No one likes my poop jokes anymore.
It's so weird. So if you go to that Vegas show before it gets shut down, I hope you have a great time.
And please be boosted.
And please be boosted. And also, someone explain to me why she's singing The Greatest Love of All.
She is?
She is. She's
wearing a poop? What is she doing?
I don't know. She's standing on top of like it seems like a rainbow stage that like lifts and lifts and lifts and maybe is all connected to her hair or all connected to the dress. But it's like, you know how you tell American Idol contestants, well, I guess she does as one of the judges.
Oh.
Don't cover Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
Katy.
Yeah.
Don't cover Whitney Houston. Like, you don't sound bad. Like, you know, you can sing your songs, firework, whatever.
Why would you try?
You
why
wouldn't
would
want.
You do it?
I, as someone who sings, would never want someone to hear me sing a song that Whitney Houston also sang.
Yeah.
In the 80s?
Because you're just asking to be compared.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
And that's not a favorable comparison.
No one wants that.
So, if someone could explain to me why she's doing that, please do. And I love that you're here also because we had a Christmas Eve Zoom party with some listeners and patrons. Go to patreon.com/2gaymats and become a $2 plus patron if you want to be on those. But we had a listener, Dr. Woods, who said that she was a big fan of And Just Like That.
She was a fan?
Fan. And I feel like you, as the Sex and the City expert in my life, as the And Just Like That aficionado of the world, have all the information on And Just Like That, and I want you to tell us all what's happening.
Can I address Dr. Woods?
I believe, yes, please. And yes, please, go, please.
What do you like about it? Tell me now.
And she's brilliant and hilarious and a therapist, and she's like,
Dr. Woods, I need your help because I need to schedule an appointment.
Yes.
So I am a huge Sex and the City fan. Could not be more obsessed.
Yes.
Oh boy. I will say, to tie into previous topics, Britney's boyfriend Sam did post he didn't get the role of physical therapist that it was in the latest episode.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, okay.
Just wanted to tie it in.
That's a great tie-in. Thank you, Sam.
He didn't get it, but he wished well to the actor who did.
Good.
And I believe that role was an under 5 is what they call in the industry.
I love that.
Okay. So here's the thing. As one of the fans of this incredible show that was of its time and ahead of its time in many ways, and you can look at it as this, like, it's hilarious, perfect show with the flaws we now have with the lens of 2021.
Totally.
No one wanted these characters to deal with race. No one sat around thinking, I wonder how Charlotte is dealing with white privilege. Because they're also not like even where the white people last year all did the public outcry tears.
The black box on Instagram,
that's what the show is. It's a long, stretched out black box on Instagram, and people have done the thing where they say, actually take that down, you're taking space, and they go, okay, and here's my other thing about race. It's so weird. And I say this praying Michael Patrick King will give me a job.
Of course.
I think after this he will, if he's hearing. I think
so, yeah.
They're brilliant writers. They're wonderful, hilarious, creative people. Yeah. And so I'm just a little disappointed that the focus isn't on these characters we love and the growth they've had as individuals and their relationships. And it just feels more about like society, which the show was, but it wasn't like specifically about tackling societal topics at the time.
I have heard what they're doing with Miranda is particularly wild. Could you touch on that? Because what I hear, and this is all just hearsay, is that she has become the Karen of the group somehow. And I felt like she was not that in the 90s in the original incarnation of these characters. Is that fair to say? Is that what's happening?
She's definitely not a Karen because she is like her heart's in the right place. She's still the person who wants to do right.
Yes.
She's fumbling a lot. And in this, I mean, this is also a spoiler. Just the episodes that have been out. She is also an alcoholic, also gay.
Right.
Also, like, there's just like a lot going on with her, and it's hard to specifically figure out what the real problems are, because at the same time, she's going back to law school and she's learning about race.
Yeah.
Every one of the white women has their own person of color that personally like gives them permission to mess up. And it's okay. And I mess up too. And you're like, it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same.
Wow.
And just like that.
And just like that. All right. So that's good to know. I'm glad. I just needed someone who is an expert truly to discuss it, because I just watched the scene where Big died. Spoiler.
I made you watch the scene.
You did.
Where Big dies.
And you weren't being as public at the time about your feelings on the show.
Because I really do want a job.
Yes, and I didn't want to, hinder that. And so I didn't say who it was that I watched it with. But like, if you listen to this, you could probably put 2 and 2 together. But now everyone knows for sure. So I'm trying to think of the remaining stories. Is there anything we really... I guess a couple, actually. The Rock
This story kills me.
The thing about this story is it is so Housewives. Like, it's so... a housewife storyline that's playing out in the media between these two like macho guys. Yeah. And so it just makes me laugh so hard, and I'll never watch one of these movies, because why would I? But like, the fact that this is going back and forth makes my day. The Rock has publicly rejected Vin Diesel's invitation to return to the Fast and Furious franchise and calls him out on manipulation.
I'm obsessed. It's like, it's the Spider-Man meme of them pointing at each other. They're both these bald dudes who I honestly have confused before.
And it's like, you guys really hate each other that much?
Yeah, it's so funny.
So if you didn't know, Vin Diesel, I guess, went to Instagram and was like, hey, we're coming around on round 10 of the 10th Fast and the Furious, and like, at The Rock, please come back. I'm doing this for Paul Walker in his memory, and like, he always sends Christmas gifts to my kids, and so they'd love to see you back. Like, see you soon, bro. And then apparently The Rock was asked about this in some scene in an interview, and was essentially like, he already knows I would not be returning to this franchise. I was very surprised by the post. Vin and I actually connected, not over social media. I told him directly and privately that I would not be returning to the franchise. I was firm yet cordial with my words, and said I would always be supportive of the cast, blah, blah, blah. He feels like it was manipulation because he didn't like that he brought up his children in the past, and as well as Paul Walker's death. He basically is just like, yeah, there's no chance in hell I'm coming back. So.
You know what they need? A common enemy. I'm sure they both hate like bad tasting protein drinks or hair or hair.
Yes, it's one
like
of those.
Beta guys, cucks. Have you ever seen a Fast and Furious movie?
Not once.
Me neither.
I mean, how could you?
I know.
I couldn't imagine.
I love it's also, but what you said is so funny too, because it's like these are like these masculine guys, and then people who watch Housewives and drama filled shows, it's like, oh, that's so like a stupid or whatever, but it's like these are the most. Yeah, it's the same.
It's literally this.
It's so stupid.
I love that this is happening. I hope it goes on forever.
I wish every like beefy guy would fight in like this way, not physically, just with emotions.
I would love that. I would love an emotional fight. I will cut this out if you need me to. Can we talk about this?
Oh yeah, we can talk about that.
Great. So if anyone has been known, in the past weeks, and I guess a few months now, I've been going back and watching a little bit of Real Housewives of Orange County, which is always a blind spot for me. Meghan King Edmonds comes in as one of my favorites because she discovers the whole Brooks cancer scam when Vicky is dating Brooks and Brooks is faking cancer. Meghan King Edmonds randomly, very recently in the past couple of months, has married Joe Biden's nephew, who is a cuff.
C-U-F-F-E.
Yes.
It could be pronounced Cufifi. We don't know.
We don't know, and we'll never know because after 2 months they have announced their split.
That's so bad. And President Biden was at the wedding.
President Biden, our current sitting president, took time off from his schedule of being the president to go to this wedding that did not last 2 months. She then went on Instagram and said something about oh, this is obviously a very painful time, but I'm trying to sort out how I was lied to XYZ, but it's at the end of the day, guys, 2 months?
2 months.
This is like Kim Kardashian and that basketball guy we forgot about.
You just have to pretend it's fine for a while.
At least a year.
Fake it for a year.
If the current president is at your wedding, you can't look like you wasted his time.
That's Emily Post. She says if the current president is you are a Real Housewife, the president comes to your wedding, which already is insane.
Right.
You need to make it look like you lasted a year.
Honestly.
Yeah.
So it didn't happen for Meghan King. And do I like her? I liked what she did for the show for that first season she was on it. Yes. I appreciated that.
Yes, she moved the story forward.
She did move the story. She was a catalyst for a great season. But man, oh man.
That is rough.
That's a mess.
That's bad.
So, Janie, is there any other news for idiots that you think I could have missed this week in my research?
That is a great question. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I guess being the Ricardos is not on everyone's radar still. Like, it haunts me every night.
By the way, I'm pretty sure the owner of that seat, Mr. Steele, is a big fan of Being the Ricardos. So, I am also excited to start a feud here. How did you feel about the film?
Oh my God, feud. Being the Ricardos.
Yeah.
I'm a big Lucy fan. I love Lucy.
She loves Lucy.
I love Lucy's about me.
Yes.
And I was just really mortified, and I can't wait to talk with Matt Steele about that.
Wow, yeah. Mortified it is. Okay, this is the new Vin Diesel, The Rock, guys.
Yes.
I am ready for the fight.
I'm coming in fast and furious.
Yes, the showdown
I love that.
is upcoming. Well, I guess we should take a quick break.
Okay.
And we'll come back soon with more Two Gay Mets. Okay, so I believe we're back.
Wow. Oh my God.
So welcome back to Two Gay Mats. I'm here with the queen of all time, Janie Stolar.
Thank you so much.
Our co-host and
Thank you for having me.
The person we dedicate every episode to. Let's be serious. And we are now currently in Email My Heart. This is the section of the podcast where you can always email us and we may answer your question live on the show. Feel free to shoot us an email, ask us a question at 2gaymats@gmail.com, and that is 2 spelled TWO. And the first email is from a certain Matt Steele, which was a shock to me, but he has some questions, I guess. And the subject line is longtime fan, first time writer. Hey, OMG, this is so crazy. I can't believe I'm finally writing an Email My Heart after all this time. I hope everyone's holidays have been joyous and magical and full of love and light. I have a few questions for both Janie and Matt Palmer. How is your COVID? I just assume you both have it. How can it be that Janie is already so much better at being a Two Gay Mats co-host than Matt Palmer? Not only has she been doing this for only half an hour or so, but she isn't even a gay Matt, and yet she's still so great at it and must just be natural talent. What great things do you wish for Matt Steele in his 2022? I love one of you so much. Love, Matt Steele.
Send for my iPhone.
I mean, rude? Yes. I think rude is my first response to that.
Rude.
We don't have COVID. Like, we have only been around each other essentially.
Was that a jab at like our lifestyle?
I mean, because honestly, someone flew on a plane, and I guess I did too, but it ain't Janie. All right?
I have been the most COVID safe. I took it very seriously. Yes. I have not socialized for 2 years. Honestly.
Literally, it was like her going to that 2-year-old's party was like a coming out party.
It was, exactly.
So we don't have that. And I agree that she is an amazing Two Gay Mats co-host. We want to have you on more often, maybe with both of us. I need to get a third microphone, but that can be arranged.
That seems doable.
I feel like that's doable.
But I feel with like you, I have, we have a certain dynamic, but I would not want to come between the Two Gay Mats.
I mean,
there's too much energy, good stuff there.
There's a lot.
I'm not trying to step in.
Hey, we can do both and. Again, there's always, TBQH could always make a comeback.
I can always make
Everyone stay tuned. Okay. Number 3, what great things do you wish for Matt Steele in his 2022?
Aww. Well, I hope he gets that couch.
Yes.
Have you talked to the listeners heard that at all? Even the Patreon? Is that a Patreon only?
No, everyone is up to date on the fact that the couch is, stuck in the sea or whatever.
I saw him, when was it, like November?
Yeah.
Stuck in the sea. It's in the Suez Canal. It's why that was like
exactly
totally blocked by his couch.
It's the only thing that's still in the Suez Canal is Matt Steele's couch.
They can't get it out.
Right. So that's a really good hope for him.
I think I saw you guys in like November, December. I forget, when you had like some people over and we were talking, and I was like, oh, how's it going decorating the new place? And he was just like, I finally got this couch. And we're just having a normal conversation. And it was like a really long time later that he revealed it would be 3 years until it arrived. Like, I just can't imagine if you have your house without a place to sit.
I know.
Like, we just stand and watch TV.
I guess he could sit at the little dining room table that I left him.
Oh, and like, does he have chairs? He has chairs.
Yeah, he has a table and chairs there. So we could figure it out. But like, it's not. I haven't actually been there, but I don't imagine it feels like fully furnished until you got your couch.
Yeah, you gotta have your couch.
Gotta have your couch. I hope for more months. Like I think his June, I believe, was very good, and he got a lot of roles and all that. So I want him to have as many roles as he wants, and to be happy and to appreciate all the work I do.
Right.
For 2K Mats.
And keep that hair game strong.
Oh, the hair looks great.
It looks amazing.
Sometimes you look back and you're like, man, what an improvement.
And all he kind of had to do was cut the sides a little bit.
A good thing I stepped in.
Yes.
Again.
Queer Eye Who?
Exactly.
JVN
Who? I'm the new JVN. It literally is like telling men to go to this one hairstylist who does Corey's hair.
That's amazing.
He does a great job. Masood, the king.
Oh my God. He's so good.
So we have we have a few questions, but a few of them I felt like were more for Matt Steele than for you, no offense.
Carol Channing.
And so, but Bruno has a question, a discussion for us that I think you could definitely jump in on because I think you've watched this and Matt Steele hasn't. So the subject line is half watching stuff. Hi, Matt. Happy New Year. So in your last podcast of 2021, Matt Palmer says that he half watches some things while playing games. And well, I do the same. And the last thing I watched this way was Coming Out Colton. I don't watch The Bachelor, but I watch The View and I feel like I know everything there is to know about him and all his drama. Does he come up on The View a lot? Do you still watch The View?
Wow, I guess so. Yeah.
All right.
He does come out a lot.
Well, that's great.
come out a lot.
You know the thing about Colton, he comes out a lot. He comes out a lot. And at first, my impression of him was he's just another reality trash personality. But after watching his Netflix show, I kind of understood why he did what he did because it seemed for what he told, having to deal with being gay was something unthinkable for him. It's not acceptable. The things he did. You mean the stalking? The stalking. Blah, blah, blah. But judging by his mindset at the time, it's understandable. But while I was feeling sorry for him, I was also questioning why he literally Kardashianed all of his coming out process. It feels like he can't live without the publicity anymore. But overall, I like the narrative of Coming Out Colton, and I know Matt Palmer was watching his reality series. So I guess what I want to know is, has your mind changed about him? Sorry for the long email. Have a nice day. No, that's not a long email. It's a great question. I feel like my holdups with him are similar to your holdups with him. I am less forgiving, it sounds like, than Bruno about the stalking. I still am hung up on that as like, that was really bad. And until we get the green light from Cassie that like she's okay and safe and like this is not traumatizing her, the fact that this is all being publicized and, documented on this reality show, I'll still feel a little weird about him. But I did think, especially honestly halfway through that show and onward, I thought was really interesting. The beginning of him like coming out to his family on camera where it's like, they all were basically like, well, we'll love you anyways. It's kind of like, okay, like, well, let's go. Like, what is this? This isn't a show. But when he came out publicly and he like was reacting to the real backlash he received, rightfully so, I felt like that's when the show started becoming more interesting for me personally. I follow him on Instagram. He seems like a nice enough guy. He and his boyfriend seem very happy. I still feel a little weird about him. And I think he's also going to be on like a Celebrity Survivor thing, which doesn't help the whole, like, why is he filming and documenting and monetizing every piece of his life? But I think his existence and his publicly coming out will probably do more good than harm. So I don't have negative thoughts about him.
I haven't seen it. Does he actually like apologize and take ownership over some of the stuff that you're talking about?
He does to a point, but he keeps being like, I can only say so much legally. Which makes sense and is true.
Yeah.
But he essentially is like, this was my last shred of like heterosexuality that I was trying to grip onto. As tightly as I could. I thought if I was going to be in love with a woman, it would be Cassie or nobody. And feelings on that?
Okay. We must save the straights. If that's what he equates with being heterosexual. Yes, he's like being forcing love on women. Yeah. Cool.
All right. So I'm thinking we should jump into giving you moments. Janie Stolar as the lady in the room and our guest for the evening. What has been giving you moments lately?
Well, yes. I will recommend something I love, love, love.
Yes.
A show on HBO you cannot half watch. It's like visual, which is stressful.
Yes.
It's called How To with John Wilson. There's been 2 seasons. And if you know any comedy folks, or you are one, it is like a must watch or a must pretend you like to talk to comedy people. It is like the new bar. It's like what's the show? You know how? Okay, well no, I won't say that. That's so mean. I can tell you certain shows where if you're like talking to someone and they like it, you're like, oh, you're not smart. This one's if you are smart.
You're watching this.
And I won't name names, but this one's if you are smart.
This feels like to me, and I feel like I heard that he was involved in it and it made sense, the like current Nathan For You.
Yeah, Nathan Fielder is the executive producer of this show. Okay. And in many ways, Nathan For You was about how LA has a bunch of hopefuls who are desperate for work and like sort of the sadness around that. The New York equivalent is How To with John Wilson. And if you've ever lived in New York, you know how you see millions of like bizarre things and you don't even process. It's just part of the culture walking down the street. Totally. It really is a celebration of New York's weirdness that way. And it's really poignant and hilarious and great show.
Wow. Yes. All right. So I guess I got to get on it. It's got to be on my list.
And what's giving you moments?
What's giving me moments currently is when I went back home for the holidays and went to my parents' house. Jackson came with me, and my mom is one of those people who, honestly, much like me, will find something she likes, play it on loop, and that's what's happening. So I walk in, and for a long time it was Game Change, starring Julianne Moore as Sarah Palin, of course, but currently it is HBO's Succession. I have not gotten into it up until this point, but I had no choice, and I've watched season 1, episode 1 through season 1, episode 7, and I will say I'm invested. It's hard. It's a show that is so interesting and is clearly about like horrible people who are billionaires and like, you know, the patriarch is like the head of a media conglomerate, and it's all about like his children essentially fighting for power and like trying to take him down one way or another and like succeed his works and like have access, all the access he has have the money he has, have it all be passed to them. And it's much like Vanderpump Rules in that you are supposed to hate everyone. Like
it's much like Vanderpump Rules.
In that everyone's the villain, like there's no you can,
and ultimately Jax and Kristen.
Yes,
so
of course, ultimately same.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to stomach because also the episodes are very long, like 50,
and they're dense.
Yeah. Every scene is something, and so when we were watching initially, we went from episode 1 straight into episode 2, and as episode 3 started, did I turn the television off? Yes. But I'm invested. I care. I want to know what happens with these people, and like now seeing Jeremy Strong as Kendall, and like and also how does he think the show is a drama? Like clearly it's hilarious. Like if nothing else, the Kieran Culkin character, like that's not a serious person.
Right.
Like this isn't a human being. Like but I'm invested. I care. I want to see what happens. The twists and turns. I've only gotten to one twist so far.
I keep telling him because I'm obsessed with Succession. Yes. It's my absolute favorite. And there are twists that come. I too struggled through a couple of the first ones, not really sure what was going on. Right. Who do I like? Where do I like anchor myself? The twist in the first season leading to the season 1 finale. I know I hate saying you got to watch like 8 hours of TV to get to something, but if it's not necessarily for you, I promise it will be. It really does deliver, and it gets better and better. And it's about family trauma and capitalism and all these amazing themes that are so like you start to really care even if you never like the people. It's a brilliant show. I love it so much.
I'm so excited to finish the first season.
You're going to love it.
You've been talking about the finale since you watched it initially. Man, and you powered through Succession and The Sopranos like in the recent past, like in 2021 at least.
Yes.
Good for you. You got your prestige TV. Check.
That's the thing about me. I only like prestige TV.
It's true. I've always thought of you as prestigious first.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
So, I mean, I guess that's it for this week. I can't
so sad.
Believe we're saying goodbye.
This is really horrible.
To our lovely, beautiful, talented, accomplished co-host Janie Stolar.
Where is she?
She's right here.
I can't thank you enough. This has been not only the only thing I've done in a few weeks, but the best. And I'm such a big fan of the show, and I really hope that all your wonderful fans have tolerated me and not been mad. And I know that Matt Steele is iconic, and I just am grateful to even be in the remote orbit of his life. So don't think I'm coming in here trying to pull a red hair.
No one thinks you're going to pull a red hair, but they all do think we need a Janie Stolar podcast experience as soon as possible.
Gen Z.
Gen Z. Just keep yelling Twitch at them, and I think someone will Twitch.
Help us.
I think the people need it. I really do. Like it's your natural. This is where you shine.
Okay, so everyone, like, what should it be about?
I mean, they're going to say pop culture.
Pop culture.
Because that's the thing. Are there a million podcasts about pop culture? Yes. But is there a podcast with you talking about pop culture? Because a lot of people do it. Not everyone's good at it. And you would be excellent.
Some people just got there first.
I mean, I can say neither yes nor no, but yes. But it's never too late.
That's right.
You can make yourself the shining star that we know you are. And the 2K Mats fans are already behind you.
Thanks, guys.
It's true. So thank you all so much for watching and listening. Make sure to follow both of us on Twitter and Instagram at Matt Palmer Music.
At Janie Fierce.
Yes, and at 2K Mats for the show, me and Matt Steele. Be a patron at patreon.com/2K Mats. We'll be back next week with more 2K Mats podcast.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.